discussion natin. Actually, our discussion is just a continuation of what we have discussed last week. Okay, but before we proceed to our discussion for today, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our dearest master teacher, Mr. Haris Arsigal. Good morning po, sir, and welcome po to the class of 11A. Naririnig ako, sir?
Good.
Naririnig ba ako? Okay, naririnig ba ako 11A?
Opo,
Yes
ma'am.
po, ma'am.
Okay, good. Okay, so we will be having first an activity. Before we proceed to our discussion proper for today, magpapakita muna ako or gagawa muna tayo ng isang activity. This is actually in relation with the topic that we are going to have for today. Okay? Okay, so this activity, as you can see, dito sa screen ko, nakikita ba ang screen ko?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, good. Okay, this activity is actually what we call the try me, tell me what you see. Okay, again, this activity is called try me, tell me what you see. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? Dito pa lang sa pinaka-title natin, I guess, siguro meron na sa inyong may idea. Okay? Sa kung ano yung... Andali ah. Okay. Sige, hold on for a while. Okay, i-record ko lang yung meeting natin ngayon. Okay, going back, doon pa lang sa title natin kanina na try me, tell me what you see. Siguro yung ilan sa inyo, meron na kayong konting idea or hint kung ano yung gagawin natin. Okay, ma'am. So what are we gonna do ba, ma'am, dito sa activity yung gagawin namin? Okay, so you're going to... I'm going to present to you some pictures. At yung mga pictures na yon, it actually consists of a question. Okay, so bawat picture na ipapakita ko sa inyo ay merong mga questions. Okay? So I will be showing you the pictures. And then, yung sagot ninyo, siguro i-chat na lang ninyo dito sa chat box natin sa meeting natin ngayon. Okay? So that I can read it loudly and orally. Okay, so nakikita ang screen ko? Okay, so welcome to the activity of try me, tell me what you see. Okay, so here's the first picture. Okay, everybody, analyze first the picture. And then when you come up with your realizations, pakitype yung sagot ninyo doon sa ating chat box. Okay, the question here is this a murder or a suicide? Okay, according to Ma'am Sia, to Miss Sia, that's actually a suicide. And some of you are saying that's actually a murder. Okay? Tingnan natin lahat ng mga sagot ninyo. Okay, so there are a lot of people here saying that that's a murder. According to Mr. Sotero, Mr. Figuracion, Mr. Perez, Mr. Ibanez, Mr. Oclarit, sabi nila lahat ito ay murder. Okay, be reminded everybody that whatever your answer is, if that's a suicide for you on your own thoughts and your own observations, please know that I highly respect that. Okay, inire-respect natin ang magiging observations ninyo. Okay? Some are saying that this is actually a murder. Okay, let's try to ask one of the people here. Okay, Miss Salcedo, why do you think this picture predicts murder?
Ma'am, there are many aspects in the picture po na may nagde-depict na murder po yan. Una, ma'am, sa crutches po, yung ginagamit po ng pilay.
Okay,
Mm,
that's actually a good idea.
yes po, malaking chance na sa kanya po yan, yung crutches na yan. Dahil, ah, kung yung murderer po may crutches, hindi niya po magagamit niya po yan. And malaki po yung chance na sa kanya po yan dahil wala pong gumagamit.
Okay,
And
thank you very much. Yes, Miss Salcedo, do you have anything to say?
may picture po sa may bed po. Parang
Okay.
asawa niya po or girlfriend niya po. And may dalawang baso po sa table. So, idea ko po, ka-live-in niya po yung parang girlfriend niya or asawa niya po. And yung asawa niya po yung gumawa niyan. And
Okay.
ginawa niya po parang suicide.
Oh, okay. So your answer is suicide, am I correct?
Ay, murder po. Murder.
Okay, your answer is murder. Okay, so ang naging basis, according to Miss Salcedo's observation, ang naging basis niya yung parang pantulong. Okay, yung panglakad niya, yung, what do you call this one? What do you call, Miss Salcedo?
Crutches po.
The crutches, okay? So meron siyang ano. And then meron din na-observe si Miss Salcedo na picture, maybe girlfriend niya yun or asawa niya, and the two glasses of um, water, maybe. Okay, so according to Miss Salcedo, ito daw ay murder. I actually saw one person saying that this is a suicide and I wanted to know his or her interpretation about the picture. So may sumagot dito ng suicide. Okay, so nawala yung sumagot ng suicide. Okay, so most of you actually murder. Okay, ang observation. As long as you have your own observation and your own basis about the picture, again, that is highly respected. Okay, let's have the second picture. Okay, try to analyze first the picture. And the question goes like this: which bridesmaid did it? Okay, try to observe the picture. Again, if you come up with your realization, you can type your answer dito sa chat box natin. Okay, some people are saying yung babae daw sa right ang gumawa. The person in the right, the right one, yung nasa right, according to Mr. Grabador. Mr. Saraspi also has the same answer. Mr. Amahit. Okay, so let's try to ask one student here. Okay, Miss Seraspi, okay, I would like to know your insight. Why do you think yung babaeng nasa right ang gumawa nun?
Kasi po ma'am yung sa may sapatos niya ay sa may sandals niya po. Makikita po dun yung marka na nandun po sa may gown po nung bride.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Seraspi. That's actually a good observation. Oo nga, kasi nakita natin na isa kanya yung parang merong mancha dyan. Okay, that's good point. Do you have the same answer, Miss? Do you have the same answer, Miss Camposano, Wilma? Pareho ba kayo ng sagot?
Yes
And
po,
observation? Okay, very good. So let's have the third picture. Again, try to analyze and observe the third picture. Now, the question here is, who came first? Okay, according to Mr. Sotero, the person in the left, okay, yun daw ang nauna. What about the others? Okay, si Mr. Almedora then, left. Same as with Miss Salcedo and Miss Solis, parehong left. Okay, parang lahat kayo ay left. Now, I am very interested. Why do you come up with the realization na ang nauna ay yung nasa left? Okay, let's try Mr. Oh, sorry, Miss Sia. I would like to hear you.
Ma'am, yung sa left po kasi,
Baba na po yung yung pinipindot po sa elevator. Tas yung sa right, paakyat pa rin po. So, yung ginagawa po kasi sa elevator kapag bumaba po, kung paakyat pa rin po yung elevator, aakyat pa rin po siya. Tas sunod naman po yung sa baba.
Okay, very good, Miss Sia. That's actually a good observation. Okay, before we proceed to our activity for today, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our dearest principal, Mrs. Dolores P. Oliveros. Good morning po, ma'am. And welcome po to the class of 11A. Okay. So proceeding to our discussion, ang ganda ng observation ni Miss Sia. Okay? Kaya niya nasabi yung nasa left ay pwedeng pababa na yon. Okay? And then yung nasa, what about right? Walang sumagot ng right sa inyo kung sino? Okay, parang almost everybody. Merong sumagot ng right. Let's hear Mr. Almedora. Okay, Mr. Almedora.
Ma'am?
Okay, why do you think yung nauna ay yung nasa right?
Right? Oh no, my mistake, ma'am. I answered supposed to be left.
It's supposed to be left.
Yes,
Okay. Okay, so tingin tayo ng iba dito na right ang sinagot. What about you, Mr. Ibanez? Charles Edwin? Okay. So you also have the same answer with Miss Sia. Okay, let's have right. Sino na ang na-left nating right? Okay, what about you, Miss Jasmine Solis? You answered right.
Left po.
Left bang sinagot mo?
Po.
Okay. So most of you, lahat ay parang you come up with your realization na yung nasa left talaga ang nauna. Okay, very good observation, Miss Sia. Okay, let's have the fourth picture. Okay, try to observe the fourth picture. Okay, now the question is, who killed the bride? If you come up with your realization, please type doon sa ating chat box. Okay, some people are saying that the groom did it. Okay, the man, the groom. The groom. Okay, bakit kaya groom ang sagot nitong mga to? Okay, let's try to ask Mr. Figuracion. I wanna hear you, Mr. Figuracion. Why do you think so?
Ma'am, kasi po parang nakikita po diyan sa picture na nahatak po ng groom yung gown ng babae kaya po nadulas.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's actually a good observation, a good one. What about you? Okay, who else answered groom? What about you, Mr. Oclarit? I wanna hear you too.
Ma'am,
Yes, Mr. Oclarit?
nakikita ko po yung groom, ma'am. May dala po siyang gun sa sa left side niya po ata. Tinago niya po.
Actually, that's a good one. Meron siyang gun nga, okay? As you can see here, meron siyang gun.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good observation, Mr. Oclarit. Let's have the last one, last perspective and observation. What about you, Mr. Sotero?
Ma'am, same lang din po.
Same answer and same observation. Dahil sa gun at syempre doon sa paghila. Okay? Okay, very good. Let's try to analyze the last picture. Okay, this is actually a bit tricky, but I want you to analyze the picture. Now, the question here is, who's the kidnapper or who's the kidnapper? Okay, according to Mr. Sotero, ang kidnapper daw ay ang clown. Any other answers? Actually, this is a bit tricky kasi maghahanap kayo ng any difference na makikita ninyo dito sa picture. Okay, same as with Mr. Sotero. Mr. Saraspi has the same answer. Sabi niya din, clown. What about the others? According to Mr. Perez, it's the old lady. Supported by Mr. Babalio, the old lady then. And followed by many students, Miss Sia and Mr. Grabador, the old lady. Miss Salcedo is the clown. I mean, she chooses the clown. Santos, old lady. Okay, let's try to ask some students. Doon muna tayo sa sumagot na kung bakit groom. I'm sorry, kung bakit clown. Okay, let's have um, Miss Salcedo. Miss Salcedo, bakit mo sinagot na clown
I think
ang kidnapper?
most likely pag ako po naging kidnapper ako, out of the 3 adults po dyan, nagiging clown po ako dahil naka-makeup po ako at hindi po ako makikilala agad-agad ng mga witness dahil yun nga po naka-wig ako and yung katawan ko maano ng clown suit ko, yung skin color ko baka makoveran po ng suot ko. Yun po.
Okay, very good, Miss Salcedo. That's actually a good point para hindi ka makilala. Okay? Pwede yun, to pretend. What about Miss Kaadan? Okay, you answered Miss Kaadan, the old lady is the kidnapper. Why do you think so, Miss Kaadan? Why do you think so? It's the old lady.
Because the old lady wearing she's pretending to wear wig po. She's pretending
Okay. So, based sa observation ni Miss Kaadan, nagpe-pretend din yung old lady natin. Okay? What else? Walang sumagot nung sa lalaki? Actually, ang mostly ng mga sagot ninyo na nakita ko na it's either the old lady or the clown. Parang si Mr. Oclarit, dalawang sinagot niya just to make sure. It's the old lady and the clown. Okay? And last, sige. Tignan natin yung last na perspective ni Mr. Santos. Okay, why do you think, Mr. Santos, old lady ang sinagot mo dito? Bakit siya ang naging kidnapper here?
Ma'am, masama po yung tingin niyo sa bata eh. Hindi tulad ng iba, lang, hindi naman masyado nakatingin. Tulad ng clown, nakatingin siya sa cellphone niya, ma'am. Hindi naman po sa bata.
Okay, that's actually a good observation, a good one, good point. Oo nga, sa kanilang tatlo, ang nakatingin lang yung matanda. Okay? So again, yung mga observations ninyo sa mga picture na pinakita ko sa inyo kanina are all highly respected. At saka yun naman ay based sa sarili ninyong basis at kung paano nyo tinitignan yung bagay. Now, the real question here is, what was your basis in answering the questions? Okay? Meaning to say, what are your foundations in answering the questions? Yung mga pinakita ko sa inyo kaninang mga pictures, anong naging basis ninyo para malaman ninyo na yun pala yung sagot? Ito pala yung sagot. Okay? What do you think is your own basis? Let's try to ask okay, I wanna hear you, Mr. Almedora. Okay, ano naging basis mo,
Ma'am?
Mr. Almedora? Yes.
I think it's in the physical appearance in their objects they hold,
Okay.
or what may point to them. For example, the groom who has a gun. But
Mhm.
that's really difficult po, ma'am, kasi we don't know the whole story. Maybe the groom is
Okay.
just holding the gun for the kid who really who shot her.
Okay,
So
very
it's
good.
really incomplete. So we mostly focus on the physical appearance.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Almedora. That's actually a good point. Kasi nag-base siya, ang sabi niya, hindi niya alam kung ano yung pinaka-story. Okay, so it's really important for you to know the context of the picture. Ano bang context ng picture na yon? Ano bang pinapredict ng picture na yon? So it's really important. Okay? And syempre, most of you nag-relay doon sa observations. Tama ba ako? Am I right, Ms. Salcedo? Ang naging basis mo rin ay observation itself?
Opo, ma'am.
Yes, the observation itself. And yung observations na meron kayo dyan is actually a good characteristic and trait, one of the good characteristics and traits ng isang good researcher. Okay, paano nyo magagamit yung pagiging observant ninyo when you are going to create your own research paper? Okay, so now we will be talking about how are you going to create your chapter 1. Okay? How are you going to write your chapter 1? Okay, our chapter 1 is entitled The Problem and Its Background. So today we will be talking about the different contents of chapter 1. Again, this is the continuation of our discussion last time. And as you remembered, we already discussed the difference between the qualitative and the quantitative and some data collection. Okay? So yung ginawa nating activity kanina, I know you have your own insight na and you have your own ideas na on how are you going to collect data. And one of the instrument is, of course, observing. So it's really important for a researcher to be observant. Okay, now, ma'am, paano po ba kami gagawa ng pinaka-chapter 1 natin or pinaka-chapter 1 namin? Okay, again, the title of our chapter 1 is The Problem and Its Background. Okay, basically, we have to define first what is a chapter 1. Okay, yun yung pinakailangan nating malaman. It's really important for us to really understand what chapter 1 is. Now, would you kindly please read what's on your screen? Miss Villones.
Chapter 1 is the beginning of the main text or body of the research paper, and it contains the following subtopics, arranged according to the prescribed order.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so when we say chapter 1, basically, this is the base, this is the foundation. Okay, kasi sabi dito, this is actually the beginning of the main text. So this will be the foundation of your research. And of course, yung chapter 1 ninyo, merong content yon. Okay, contents. Yung contents na yon, syempre, it is actually arranged according to the prescribed order. Now, what are the arrangement of those contents ng chapter 1 natin? Okay, the first one is we have the introductory part or the introduction. Okay, so it's really important for you to have your introduction. Okay, and then we have for the second one, background of the study. The third one, we have the statement of the problem or the SOP. This is actually the so-called SOP. And then we have the hypothesis. And then theoretical framework, conceptual paradigm, or also we can say that this is a conceptual framework as well. Significance of the study, scope and limitations of the study. And the last part of the chapter 1 is the definition of terminologies or terms. Okay, isa-isahin natin para mas maintindihan natin kung ano yung mga parts na yan. Okay, basically, dun muna tayo sa introduction. Okay, so let's define first what is an introduction. Okay, so you can see here, it's a group of paragraphs which is the start of chapter 1. Okay, so when we say paragraphs here, hindi lang siya isang paragraph. Okay, so kung gaano kahaba, later on, we will discuss this. Okay? Must be written carefully to create impact and generate interest and enthusiasm. I remembered one of my professor told me that when you are creating a research, it's like you're creating an essay. So it's really important for you to have your readers be interested. Okay? So kailangan interesado pa lang, sa umpisa pa lang, nung ginagawa ninyong, sa introductory part pa lang ng research ninyo, it's really important to persuade your readers na babasahin nila talaga yung ginagawa ninyong research. Okay? Okay, must have a good starting point that sets the tone for the rest of the paper. Okay, what does it mean when we say good starting point? For example, your topic is all about the effects of ODL to the learners or to the grade 12 students or to the students of Tandang Sora Integrated School. Okay, when we say good starting point here, hindi mo kagad bibirahin. Okay, if that's the terminology, hindi mo kagad bibirahin sa pinaka-topic. So parang kailangan mo muna siyang i-moderate. Okay, mag-start ka muna, tapos magkaroon ng proper transition. Okay, syempre mag-i-start ka muna sa kung saan related yung topic mo. So it's really important to consider that. Hindi na tayo basta-basta bibira. Okay, that's what we are saying, that good starting point is really important. Okay, must concentrate on dealing extensively with facts and must appeal to logic. Okay, this is in relation with you as a researchers. Okay, so it's really important for you to realize na kapag gagawa kayo ng research, hindi tayo opinionated. Okay? Hindi opinionated. Meaning to say, meron tayong mga basis doon sa sinasabi natin. Okay? Pero syempre, ang mga researchers, kayo ang mismong gagawa. Okay? Kayo ang mismong magko-construct ng mga sentences. Okay? And then, contain simple and scientific words. And must avoid flowery and emotional words and verbosity. Okay, when we say verbosity, yung mga unnecessary sentences or unnecessary ideas na hindi na kailangan sa research. Okay, yan kasi ang nagiging siguro sakit ng research. Okay, maraming mga flowery words, mga verbose words na nandun, which is very unnecessary, and we avoid that. Okay, sa gagawin niyo yung research, kailangan alisin yun. Okay? Next. Okay, thus allow statements of the researcher's own idea. This is what I'm telling you a while ago. Or opinions, but this must be logically presented and supported by facts, records. Okay, yung gagawin ninyong research, syempre, hindi lang siya puro idea lang ng ibang tao. Okay, you have to realize na yung ginagawa ninyong research, that's your own interpretation, the researcher's own interpretation about the topic. Okay, halimbawa, magki-create kayo ng mga sentences, tapos yung mga sentences na yon, syempre, make sure that it is supported by logical facts. Okay, pwede kayong kumuha sa different sources, whether it's a primary source or a secondary source, it's all up to you. Basta meron kayong foundations at meron kayong basis kung bakit ninyo inaaral yan. Okay, later on, you will realize kung ano yung sinasabi ko. Okay? And then, okay, ano ba ang characteristic ng isang good introduction? Sabi dito, it must not be lengthy and should not be more than 3 pages long. Okay, siguro ang gawin natin, hindi na siya lalampas ng 3 pages. Maximum na natin, 11A ang 3 pages. Okay, pero dito sa pangalawa, a 2-page introduction, if well written, kung maayos nyo naman talagang nasulat at nandun na lahat ng mga kailangan nating information, you already built the introductory part, the important ideas na kailangan niyo sa buong research, then yung 2 page, okay na yon. Okay, it can be sufficient. Materials from other sources can be included to enhance the introduction, but proper documentation should be strictly observed. Okay, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, we avoid plagiarism. Okay, so you have to be careful. Yung mga nakikita nyo sa internet, especially kapag yan ay published, syempre kailangan yung sabihin kung sino ang author niyan. It's really important na ma-indicate natin doon sa research natin kung sino yung author nun. If hindi at nalaman nila yan, syempre, sasabihin nilang kayo ay nag-plagiarize. Okay, so we avoid that. Okay, next. The introduction should contain a concise discussion of any or all of the following. Presentation of the situation of the problem. So, ibig sabihin sa introductory part nyo pa lang, meron na kayong general problem. This is actually quite different from the SOP itself. Okay, yung SOP nyo iba to. We are referring here to the general problem of the research or the topic. So, ibig sabihin, meron na kayong na-present na problema. Okay, that's why sinabi ko sa inyo, di ba, last time, before we proceed or before creating a topic, or if you already created your topic, it's important for you to create a question or a problem in your heads. Okay, existence of an unsatisfactory condition. When we say unsatisfactory condition, there is actually a problem to be solved. Meron kayong nakikitang problema, whether sa society, whether sa Department of Education, whether sa iba pang ahensya ng government, or kung saan kayo interesado. Okay, so meron kayong nakikitang problema and it actually needs a solution. And then, of course, ang isang introduction, kailangan clear din na merong rationale. Okay? When we say rationale, what is the significance of you conducting that kind of research? Bakit mahalaga na ginagawa niyo? What is your purpose? Okay? Gusto kong sabihin din sa inyo, it's really important for you to bear in your mind that, of course, although this is a prerequisite to your subject, syempre, ang main purpose natin is to really solve a problem, to really help the society. Okay? Alam natin kailangan niyo for your grades and for the completion para makagraduate, but bear in your mind na ang research, hindi lang siya dahil doon. Okay? Kasi meron kayong isosolve na problema talaga. Okay, let's make this serious. The aim of being a researcher, kasi meron kayong isosolve the problema. So, hindi lang tayo para sa grades. Okay? And then, a desire to have a clearer understanding of a situation. Same lang to nung kanina na meron tayong problema. An attempt to find a better way of addressing a problem. When we say a better way of addressing a problem, baka yung ibang tao or yung ibang mga proponents or sabihin na natin yung ibang nag-build din ng ganong klaseng research or pwedeng sabihin na natin medyo kapareho ng research na kinakonduct ninyo, baka meron silang sariling way or strategy. Okay, you will being a researcher, syempre gagawa din kayo ng sarili nyong strategy and you aim to find what? A better way of addressing a problem. And then can include ideas, phrases, and sentences from published materials relevant to the study to give the readers an overview. Okay, hindi lang kayo kukuha dito ng basta may makuha lang kayong related literatures and studies. Hindi lang ganon. Okay, make sure na related talaga yon sa topic ninyo. And it will serve really as a big help hanggang sa ending ng ginagawa ninyong study or research. Okay? So that's all for the introductory part. Do you have any other question doon sa introduction natin? So it's clear ha, hindi lalampas ng 3 pages. Okay? Pwede na yung 2 pages, basta yung diniscuss natin kanina, nandun lahat. Yung mga contents na meron dapat ang chapter 1, or I mean the introductory part, nandun dapat. Okay? Kapag nandun naman lahat and nakakatayo naman for the rest, para sa rest ng paper na gagawin ninyo, it's already enough. Okay? Any questions? Do I make myself clear here, 11A?
Yes, po.
Yes po,
Okay,
ma'am.
very good. Okay, let's have the second content of the chapter 1. We have the background of the study. Dito pa lang sa term na to, background of the study. Anong naiisip ninyo? From the terminology itself, I would like to hear you, Miss Gambol, Christina May. Okay, when we say background of the study, what comes to your mind? Miss Gambol, are you there? Okay, let's have Mr. Fadri. Mr. Fadri?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, when we say background of the study, from the words itself, anong naiisip mo?
Yung mga ano po, yung mga studies po na mga nakapaloob po dun sa research na napili nyo.
Okay, so meaning to say, ang ibig sabihin siguro ni Mr. Fadri doon, that's actually a good point. Yung ibang research na interrelated doon sa pinaka-topic. Tama ba ako ng pagkakaintindihan comprehension, Mr. Fadri?
Yes po. Also po
Okay.
yung mga ano po, pwede din pong maglagay po dyan ng mga theories po about po
Okay.
sa topic po na napili nyo.
Okay, that's actually also a good point kasi pwede rin natin maging basis yon. Okay, so what really is the background of the study? Okay, it discusses the historical background of the problem, when it started, how, and where, if possible. Okay, so saan nagsimula yung idea na yan? Okay, ano ang naging foundation ninyo sa pagbuo ng topic na yan? Okay, pwede rin kayong kumuha ng ibang mga sources. For example, ito ang naging inspiration ninyo kung bakit kayo nakabuo ng ganitong topic. Okay, yung background of the study, don't worry, hindi naman kailangan to na mahabang-mahaba. Siguro, kagaya din nung kanina sa introductory part, 1 to 2 pages is enough. Basta nasabi na ninyo kung saan mismo nanggaling yung study na yan. Okay? Ano ang pinanggalingan ng study na yan? Okay? Pertinent statistical data can be cited to support the researcher's claim of the existence of the problem. Okay, statistical data actually nag-a-apply lang to sa quantitative research. I already discussed the difference between the two, the quali and the quanti. Collection of data, statistical data ay para sa quantitative research. But in qualitative research, we also have some instrument to be used in collecting data. Kagaya nung ginawa natin kanina sa pinaka-activity natin, as you remember, gumamit tayo ng instrument of observing, okay, based on our observation. So, pwede yun. Pwede nyo rin ilagay yon doon sa background of the study nyo. Okay, so yun lang yung sa may background of the study. Any other question tungkol sa background of the study para alam niyo yung ginagawa ninyo? Clear na ba? Is everything clear, 11A?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, good. Let's move on now to the third part of the content of chapter 1. We have the SOP. This is actually the so-called SOP. Okay, a statement of the problem. Okay, one of the crucial parts of chapter 1 ito. Okay, sabi nila, it's like making again a title. Parang ganun yon. Okay. So there should be a general statement of the problem, followed by specific question or sub-problems into which the general or main problem is broken up. Okay, when we say sub-problems, yun na yung mga supporting ideas. Maybe it will came from your respondents or sa inyo mismo as a researchers. For example, you have your main idea na dalawang question. Yung 1 and 2 question, nagge-generate na yon sa pinaka-topic niyo, for example. Yung number 3, number 4, and number 5, parang supporting details question na lang yon. Supporting detail questions. Ibig sabihin, meron pa rin relation doon sa pinaka-general problem ninyo. Okay? Nagkakaroon tayo ng mga sub-problems, especially kapag gusto nating pumunta. We go through details. Okay? At yun ang isa sa mga character ng qualitative research. Okay? We go through deep details. Pumupunta tayo sa pinaka-detalye. Sabi nga, the main problem is broken up. Para lang kayong kumukuha ng mga branches, para lang kayong nag-broken up ng mga branches dito. Okay? Should be specific, clearly and simply stated, and arranged logically according to the research or conceptual paradigm. Okay, syempre, ang statement of the problem ninyo, for example, your topic is all about, kung tayong lumayo, your topic is all about ODL. Okay, for example, that's your topic. Kailangan syempre, yung number 1 question ninyo, ang priority question na yon, dapat sasagutin yung pinaka-topic ninyo. Hindi pwedeng nasa number 5 siya. Okay, kailangan sasagutin kung ano yung pinaka-general problem. Okay? Yung 3, 4, 5, actually hindi ko kayo minamandate na gumawa ng 5-item question. Hindi naman. Okay? As long halimbawa 3, siguro minimum na yon, 3. As long as yung 3 questions na yon, it will cover up the whole research, it will answer the questions of the research, wala tayong problema doon. Okay? So, hanggang 3 ang minimum natin and then 5 ang maximum natin sa paggawa ng SOP natin. Okay, how are you going to do your SOP? Okay? Paano nyo gagawin yung SOP ninyo? So, as you can see here, there are lots of guidelines on how are you going to create your statement of the problem. Okay. So let's have first, tingnan natin kung ano yung mga important factors that you have to remember in writing your SOP. Okay, the first one, general statement of the problem and the specific sub-problems or questions should be formulated first before conducting the research. As I told you, sabi ko sa inyo, di ba, magkaroon muna kayo ng brainstorming. Okay, for example, you are 10 in a group, tapos kunin nyo ang lahat ng mga interest ninyo. And then you come up with your own commonalities. Pag nakahanap na kayo ng commonalities, pwede na kayo mag-create ng sarili ninyong mga research or topics. Pag nakapili na kayo ng topic, for example, nakita na ng leader ang commonality and similarity nung ginawa ninyong, kung saan kayo talaga most interested with, pwede na kayong mag-come up with a question or a problem. Pwede na kayong kumuha mismo ng mga problema or gumawa sa isip niyo ng mga problema. Specific problems are stated in interrogative form. Okay, when we say interrogative form, the simplest way of describing it, kailangan naka-question mark. Syempre, that's a question eh. Kaya nga tayo nag-state ng problem. Sabihin, meron tayong sasagutin. So interrogative form tayo, question form. Okay, each specific question is researchable. Okay? When we say researchable, either doon sa mismong research na ginagawa ninyo or sa ibang research. Kailangan ito ay answerable, okay, and researchable. Answers to each specific question must contribute to the development of the whole study. Okay? Either ang sagot dyan ay kukunin nyo sa chapter 4 or 5 or maybe masasagot kagad sa chapter 1. Kayo ang bahala doon. The number of the specific questions should be enough to cover the development of the whole problem of the study. Okay? Next, okay. Those are the guidelines in writing your SOP. So you have to make sure, syempre, pag gagawa na kayo ng SOP, basta you have to focus lang, 11A. Listen to me, mag-focus lang kayo doon sa pinaka-topic ninyo. Kung makakaisip kayo ng mga sub-problems, ibig sabihin, you go through details naman talaga, at makakatulong yung mga detalye na yon sa buong research ninyo, wala tayong magiging problema. Okay? This PowerPoint is already uploaded to your Google Classroom accounts. Pwede nyong balikan to. And of course, I will upload the recorded session today. Okay, next, we have the hypothesis. I think someone will help me reading this definitions. Okay, let's have Miss. Okay, I want to hear you. Mr. Reforma, Christian Jericho. Would you kindly please read what's on your screen? Mr. Reforma, are you there? Yes. Okay, nag-type si Mr. Reforma. I have mic problems. Okay, sige, thank you very much for informing us. Let's have Miss Amahit Raven.
Hypothesis is a tentative but intelligent and logical guess or answer to a specific question or problem, which is carefully formulated before conducting the study. It predicts the outcome of a research study. It provides direction to the study. It enables the researcher to formulate the conclusion of the work. The results of the study are the basis for its acceptance or rejection at the end of the study. Must be briefly and clearly stated, worded effectively so readers will remember it all throughout their reading.
Okay, thank you very much for that clear reading, Miss Amahit. Okay, siguro paiksiin na lang natin. Let's define hypothesis in its simplest way. Okay, when we say hypothesis, ano yung prediction ninyong mangyayari sa end ng ginagawa ninyong research? Okay? Sabi dito, it is a tentative but intelligent and logical guess. Okay? Actually, ang hypothesis, it's more applicable in quantitative research. Talagang pang-quanti talagang hypothesis. Although sa qualitative research, there are some researches na talagang gumagamit naman talaga silang hypothesis, pero ang ginagawa nila talagang in general. Ano yung magiging hula mo? Actually, sa hypothesis, we have the different kinds of hypothesis or two types of hypothesis. We have the null hypothesis and we have the alternative hypothesis. Okay? Yung null hypothesis, it actually negates the difference. Tapos, yung alternative naman, contradicting naman doon sa null. Parang nagbibigay ng positive. Ibig sabihin parang merong difference. Okay, i-discuss din natin to, pero siguro papyawan natin the next time around. Pero meron tayong two types of hypothesis, but you don't have to worry about that because what hypothesis we are going to do is the general hypothesis. Ibig sabihin, ano ba yung pinaka guess ninyo na mangyayari sa end ng research ninyo. Bakit ba tayo, ma'am, gumagawa po ng hypothesis? Why is it important for us na meron tayong prediction or outcome sa pwedeng mangyari sa dulo ng ginagawa ninyong research? Because, sabi dito sa the bullet, as you can see here, tignan nyo yung screen, it provides what? It provides direction to the study. So magkakaroon ng direction yung ginagawa ninyong study kasi meron na kayong nakikitang parang guess, okay, ito ang mangyayari, ganito ang magiging solusyon niyan, or ito ang magiging mangyayari sa dulo niyan. Kasi meron kayong, as researchers, you have your own logical guess. Even before conducting your own research, dapat meron na rin talaga kayong possible outcome na tinatawag. Okay? Okay, characteristic of a good hypothesis. As you can see, number one, it can be empirically tested. Okay, when we say empirically tested, not necessarily naman na meron ng mga nag-conduct na ibang study. Okay, when we say empirically tested, meron kayong basis. Okay, meron kayong mga pinagkunan, meron kayong mga foundation na pinagkunan to conduct that study or to create your hypothesis. Okay, it should state in definite terms the relationship between variables under study. It is based on the question raised in the study, and it's stated in such a way that it logically answers the question. Okay, you don't have to worry about creating a hypothesis. Okay, yung hypothesis natin, gagawin na lang natin general hypothesis. Okay? And then we have the fifth part of the content. We have the significance of the study. I would like to ask someone, ano ba ang ibig sabihin pag sabi nating significance of the study? Okay, may I hear Miss Gambol? Are you there, Miss Gambol? Okay, when we say significance of the study, okay, alam na natin ang ibig sabihin ng significance. We are referring here to the importance of the study. Okay? Ano kayang ibig sabihin nun? Okay, let's try Miss Graciel or Graciel Tan. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I pronounce your name wrong. Is this Graciel or Graciel? Miss Tan? Okay, baka hindi ako naririnig yung Miss Tan. Let's have Mr. Soriano Kirby.
Ma'am, kung saan po magbe-benefit yung study, ma'am.
Ah,
Kanina po.
okay, good. Okay, Mr. Soriano. From Mr. Soriano's answer, magbe-benefit. So, ibig sabihin, when we say significance of the study, sino ang magbe-benefit ng ginagawa ninyong study? Okay? What is the significance of this study? Sino ang magbe-benefit ng ginagawa niyong study? For example, ang topic niyo, wag na ulit tayong lumayo. Your topic is all about ODL class. Okay, sino ba ang magbe-benefit nun? Okay, why is it important for us to cultivate a positive attitude towards online distance learning? For example, that's your topic. Okay, sino ang magbe-benefit nun? Primarily, yung magbe-benefit, sino? Estudyante. Or pwedeng ang school. Or pwedeng ang DepEd. Okay, so iisipin ninyong mabuti kung sino ang magbe-benefit ng i-conduct ninyo na study. Is that clear? Siguro, sabihin na natin 5 ang magbe-benefit. Maximum na natin yon. Minimum na natin ang 5 and then siguro maximum na natin ang 10. Okay? It's important for you to recognize or to know kung sino ang magbe-benefit ng ginagawa ninyong study. So yun lang naman ang significance of the study. And I would like to also remind everybody na kapag gagawa kayo ng mga subtopics, remember, kapag gagawa kayo ng mga subtopics or contents ng chapter 1, bago nyo simulan yung pinaka-content nung mismong subtopic na yun, for example, itong theoretical framework, meron kayong brief introductory part. Do not forget the brief introductory part. Okay? And then we have the sixth part, the theoretical framework. Okay? From the terminology itself, theoretical, theory. Okay? Theoretical, theory. Ibig sabihin, you come up with a theory. Okay? Your basis will be a theory. Okay? And then when we say theory, ibig sabihin, hindi pa naman siya talagang napatunayan. Okay? Only a theory. Okay? You have to indicate who is the proponent of that theory. And it's really important for you na makakuha kayo ng theory talaga na interrelated sa ginagawa ninyong topic. Why? Bakit mahalaga na makakuha kayo ng sariling theory? Okay, kasi yan din ang magiging basis ninyo on how are you going to create your conceptual paradigm. Okay, remember, hindi naman magkapareho, okay? Laging magkadikit ang theoretical framework at ang conceptual paradigm. Okay, kung anong nasa theoretical, kailangan parallel siya doon sa tinatawag nating conceptual paradigm. Okay, pag gagawa kayo ng theoretical framework, humanap muna kayo. Okay, sa mga ibang research, I observed na gumagamit sila ng 2 or 3 na mga theories to support their research. Pero sa inyo, siguro pwede na tayong gumamit ng isang theory. Okay? Kahit isang theory lang, and then you interpret it as a researcher. Bakit yun ang napili niyong theory? Okay? So you have to build or construct your own interpretation about that theory or towards that theory. Okay? It's really important kasi magiging supporting factor ito ng ginagawa ninyong research. And of course, we have the conceptual framework or paradigm. Ma'am, what is the difference between theoretical framework and the conceptual paradigm? Okay? So ito ang ibig sabihin ng conceptual framework. Okay, from term itself, conceptual. Ibig sabihin, merong concept. Okay, nandito yung concept. Okay, sabihin na natin parang sa isang research summary. Okay, pero in a more creative way. Ma'am, paano po ito ginagawa? Okay, tignan niyo mabuti yung screen. And I will show you an example of a conceptual framework. Okay, so as you can see here, dito sa research na ginawa nila, the components of the logic model used by Innovation Network are, so nagsimula sila sa ganon. And then you have here, as you can see, we have the problem statement here. So nilagay nila dito yung statement of the problem nila. And then their goal or objective, nandito rin. And then the rationale, the significance, their assumption, the resources, the activities, the outputs, and the outcomes. Okay? So, this is actually based dun sa ginagawa nilang research. I know you are very much familiar with the traditional paradigm or the traditional conceptual paradigm. We have the input, process, and output. Alam ko yun yung parang ginagawa natin when we are actually on your junior high school level. Actually, pati naman sa senior high school, okay? Pero kasi that's very traditional. So, you have to create your own concept. Okay? Your own paradigm. Kailangan yung bakabuo ng sariling paradigm. Siguro yung innovative paradigm that is actually applicable to your research. Basta applicable sa research ninyo. As you can see here, gumamit sila ng parang categorization. Okay? Nag-categorize sila. Siguro ito yung gagawin nila, ito yung sa activity, ito yung sa outputs. Okay? Kayo ang bahala doon. On how are you going to conceptualize your research. Now, I will show you a second, the second example. Okay, this paradigm is actually a very crucial paradigm. Okay lang din naman. Okay, as you can see here, may mga different contents dito sa box. Okay, the main problem here, siguro, pwede kong makita o ma-predict na problema dito. Syempre, kung paano ko hahanapin. Yung mga arrow, syempre, titignan ko pa isa-isa yan kung nasan kayo. Okay lang naman yan. Walang problema sa ganyang paradigm. It's just like, para sa, syempre, advisor na mag-check, I think it might be difficult para makita ko pa or sundan yung mga arrow. But of course, this is actually a good example of a conceptual paradigm. So ang topic siguro nila dito, model of treatment, components, protective factors, and outcome measures. Okay? Hindi naman natin kailangan gawing complicated ang ginagawa ninyong conceptual paradigm. As long as clear. Okay? Clear dapat ang conceptual paradigm ninyo. Basta clear yung pattern. Meron kayong pattern na sinusundan dyan, 11A. Okay? What about the third example? Do we still have the third example? Okay, this one. Try to observe this picture. So, ang ginawa nila sa conceptual paradigm nila, it's like branches of tree. Okay? So, doon sa mga leaves, may makikita kayo mga words. Okay? Siguro merong mga nire-represent yan. And then, sa mga branches din, meron din mga words. This is actually a very, sabihin natin, simple paradigm, conceptual paradigm. Okay? But make sure na kapag syempre nakita ko yung paradigm na yan, nandoon yung buong topic. Okay? Of course, the theory, yung kaninang pinag-usapan natin, it's really important na ma-indicate yun sa conceptual paradigm ninyo. Why? Because that will be your basis. Okay? That's the main basis of your research. Okay, so yan ang paggawa ninyo. Kayo ang mismong gagawa ng sarili ninyong conceptual paradigm. Okay? Choice nyo yun kung paano nyo i-conceptualize yung ginagawa ninyong research. Kung gagamit kayo ng different figures para ma-represent ang buong topic, kayong bahala doon. It doesn't matter as long as clear yung statement. At saka nakikita natin na clear din yung tinatawag nating pattern. Okay? And then, okay, the question is, can you make a framework or model of your own? Okay, of course you can. And I believe that you can. Okay, next we have the scope and limitations of the study. Okay, let's make this simple. From the term itself is scope and limitations. Okay, when we say scope, everybody, 11A, listen, kapag sinabi nating scope, that's the strength of the study. Okay, bakit siya naging strength of the study? Kasi ito ang magiging sakop ninyo. Ganito kalaki ang magiging sakop nyo, 11A. Pinag-aaralan nyo yung ODL. Okay, so ito ang lahat ng sakop nyo sa ODL. Okay, that's why it's called the strength of the study. While on the other hand, we have the limitations of the study. Of course, although we go through details, meron pa rin tayong limitations. Okay, sabi nila, ang limitations daw of the study is what we call the weakness of the research. Kasi, nalilimitahan yung ginagawa ninyong study. Okay, when you are about to create your scope and limitation, make sure na kung ano mismo yung pinaka-scope ng study ninyo, yun lang ang gagawin ninyo. At syempre, sa limitation as well, dapat hanggang dun lang yung inaaral ninyo. Ito, ganito kalaki ang scope at hanggang dito lang ang aaralin namin as a researcher. Is that clear? So, pwede na siguro kayo dito sa scope and limitations. So, umpisa pa lang, magkaroon kayo ng konting introductory part. And then you create a proper transition of presenting your scope. Okay, itong scope namin. Okay? And then the next paragraph, dito naman yung limitations of the study. Okay? Hindi naman kailangang mahabang-mahaba. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, as long as it is well written, as long as it is clear, wala tayong magiging problema. Okay? That's for the scope and the limitations of the study. And then we have the last one. The last one is the definition or defining terminologies. So it's really important for you to define terminologies. Okay, para mas maintindihan natin, there are actually two ways or two types of defining terminology. Okay, we have the conceptual definition. As you can see here, check your screens, 11A. We have the conceptual definitions and we have here the operational one. Okay, ma'am, what is the difference between the two? If you are familiar, 11A, with the idea of defining terminology through semantics, yung parang structure of words through semantic, we have the denotation and the connotation. Okay? If you are going to study language, meron tayong tinatawag na denotation, meron tayong tinatawag na connotation. Same as well lang dito sa ginagawa nating research. Okay, when we say denotation, the terminology or the meaning of the term actually came from the dictionary or the encyclopedia or etc. Ibig sabihin ko ano yung pinaka-main niya na talagang definition. While on the other hand, as you can see here, we have the operational one. The denotation is actually same with the conceptual definition. Same lang sila. Parehong kinukuha nila sa dictionary yung meaning. And then we have the operational or the functional definition. Sa structure of language, tawag natin dito ay connotation. Okay, alam ko yung some of you are very familiar with this. Okay, when we say connotation or the operational one, kailangan yung isang word na yon, meron siyang sariling meaning na nagsastand doon sa ginagawa niyong research. Okay, for example, a calendar. For example, a calendar. As you can see here sa calendar, meron tayong sariling definition. Okay, ang definition ng calendar dun sa dictionary ay ganito. But sa research ninyo, ang calendar ay magiging bias, for example. It represent as a bias or yung semantic meaning ng calendar or operational meaning ng calendar doon sa mismong study ninyo ay bias. Okay, it represent bias. Okay, for example, a pencil. Alam natin ang pencil, ito ay isang structure na ganito, ganyan sa dictionary. Yung pencil doon sa mismong study ninyo, it actually represent dignity. Okay, ang semantic meaning nun ay dignity. Okay, that's the operational definition. So what are you going, ma'am, what are we going to do? Ano po ba ang kind ng definition na gagawin namin? Okay, you are going to do the operational one. Okay? Probably and most of the time, yung ginagawa na, yung lahat ng mga researchers actually, pati mga researchers, syempre, ang ginagawa talaga ay operational, the operational one. So, yun din naman ang gagawin natin. Because it's really important na operational ang gawin natin so that parang maiintindihan ng mismong readers kung ano talaga yung ginagawa ninyong paper. It's really easy to look at the dictionary. Madali na kasing kumuha ng dictionary and then look for the meaning of it. Punta kayo ng Merriam's Dictionary, okay, itong meaning. Pero, para mas maintindihan ng mga readers ninyo, or mas maintindihan ninyo, you as a researcher, yung ginagawa ninyo, gagawa tayo ng, or gagawin natin yung operational one, the functional definition. Okay? The researcher's own description, yun, yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina, your own connotation about the terminologies. Okay? And then, siguro, yun na yun. Okay, that's the end of our slide for today. So as you can see, before we conduct actually this discussion for today, I already uploaded your activity. So meron na kayong activity doon sa Google Classroom ninyo, and I will be waiting for your works. Syempre, doon sa, that is actually related pa rin doon sa ginawa nating discussion for today. So meron tayong target for this week na magawa or matapos. Okay, yung activity na yon, you can check all your Google Classroom account para hindi kayo masyadong maguluhan. And of course, pag medyo gusto niyo mag-come up ulit doon sa isang idea, i-upload ko na lang ulit itong meeting natin ngayon. And of course, last week, in-upload ko na rin naman itong PowerPoint na to. Okay, 11A, do you have any other questions? Kung meron kayong tanong, pwede kayong magtanong ngayon. Is everything clear?
Ma'am,
Yes?
are we gonna do a survey po?
Okay, are you gonna do a survey? Actually, kung siguro it's still early kung gagawa kayo ng survey kasi ang target lang nating matapos is until chapter 3, the methodology part. Okay? Yung paggawa kasi ninyo ng survey, siguro sasagutin na yon sa pinaka chapter 4. Okay? Kung gagawa kayo ng survey, and kung yun ang instrument, for example, na gagamitin nyo, wala tayong magiging problema. Whether it's FGD or survey or you're going to create a questionnaires for your respondents, wala namang problema doon. Kaya lang, I think it's early. Kasi ang target natin, Mr. RJ, tama ba ako? Ikaw yun, Mr. RJ, yung nagtanong?
Opo.
Ay, yun. Mr. RJ, siguro hanggang methodology yung magiging target natin. Actually, yun din naman yung nakalagay sa pinaka ninyo, dito sa subject, sa Practical Research 1, hanggang methodology lang. Okay? So if you're going to conduct, siguro if you want na talagang malaman ng sagot, you can continue your study. Okay, your research, you can continue that. Okay, pero ngayon, gusto kong sabihin sa inyo lahat na hanggang chapter 3 lang yung gagawin natin. Gusto niyo ba tapusin natin hanggang chapter 5? Parang gusto niyo tapusin natin hanggang chapter 5. Wala tayong magiging problema. Okay, kahit finish na ang ating semester, we can continue your research as long as you are very interested in answering the research. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, you have to bear in your mind that the main goal of you conducting that kind of research is not just for grades. Hindi lang dahil sa grades yan. Okay? Kasi meron tayong isosolve sa society natin. Kasi tutulungan natin ang society natin through your research. Okay, so to answer your question, Mr. RJ, I guess we focus first on the first 3 chapters of our research, the chapter 1, chapter 2, and the chapter 3. Okay, siguro in chapter 4 and chapter 5, it will follow. Meron naman kayong III kapag nag-grade 12 kayo. Okay, so ibig sabihin parang yun yung pinaka talagang magiging research ninyo kapag nag-grade 12 na kayo. Okay? Is that clear,
Okay po,
Mr.
ma'am.
RJ? Okay. Do
Apo,
you have any
thank
other
you.
concerns? Questions? Is everything clear now? Okay. Kung makikita nyo yung Google Classroom ninyo, meron lang kayong mga task na mga kailangang sagutan doon. Okay? Until Friday naman ang nun. Don't worry, don't rush yourselves. As long as maayos yung ginagawa ninyong research, yung activity natin, bibigay ko sa inyo yung feedback kagaya ng ginagawa ko sa inyo sa title. So, bibigyan ko kayo ng feedback kung ano yung mga dapat ninyong i-improve at kung ano yung mga dapat ninyong gawin. Actually, the structure, I already discussed the structure of how are you going to create your chapter 1. Tama ba ako? Lahat ng chapter. So, I already discussed that one. So, you have your idea na. Okay? Kung paano niyo igagawin. Now, 11A, if you don't have any other questions or kung meron kayong questions ulit na magpa-pop up bigla after our session, feel free to ask doon sa GC natin. If your question is very beneficial to others too, wag niyo na akong EPM, doon kayo magtanong sa pinaka-GC natin para masagot ko din. Kasi baka yung tanong nyo, again, tanong din ng iba. Okay? So para isahang sagutan na lang tayo, doon kayo magtanong sa GC. No other questions? Okay, if none, again, I would like to thank our visitors for today. Again, introducing our visitors for today, we have Mr. Dalmasio Daita, our senior high school focal person. Good morning, sir. We also have our master teacher. We have Mr. Haris Arsigal. And of course, our dearest and beautiful principal. Good morning po, Ma'am Dolores P. Oliveros. Okay, so sila ang bisita natin ngayon. If you don't have any other concerns or questions, you may now leave our Google meeting. Thank you very much, 11A, for attending our class for today.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you.